what we have coming up right now in this segment is conspiracies, but mostly focused on like some of the films that are recently coming out, especially in Netflix. Netflix has been doing.
It's been keeping up.
Dang on thing. I'll give it that. So one of the first ones that we're actually going to be talking about is the new Malcolm X, the documentary. So a little bit of background information. He was assassinated February 21st, 1965. And I know that some of you know, like, the tagline was kind of like, you know, get your hands out my pocket, and then they kind of connected the diversion, and two men apparently, or like allegedly, was from like Islam Nation. And shot him, right? So 3 people were actually convicted. So Aziz was actually paroled in 1985, and he maintained his innocence. He's now 81. Islam was released in 1987. He maintained his innocence as well, and he died in 2009. And Halim was paroled in 2010. So, however, if you've been keeping up, and so the whole point of the Netflix documentary is that they're actually reopening the case because there was enough evidence, and they're pretty much trying to actually find the truth about it. And it's 1 season, 6 episodes, 45 minutes each. But what do you guys kind of think about that? Like, to have a whole investigation reopened and everything after these people done serve time, like life sentences.
I think it's really crazy how, like, it's more than 5 decades that they're reopening this, and I think
55 years.
Yeah, this coming week is going to be the anniversary of the day he died. So it's all just surreal.
February 21st. Yep.
I just like to think that now you're reopening it. Like, now you're like, oh, there's a bit of a chance. Like, this evidence was always here. It was always here. You knew about it. Like, and the thing is, even like just when he was murdered by these 2 people, allegedly, these 3 people, sorry, it didn't even seem to match up like that. It just seemed like they were kind of like pinned. It was pinned on them because like of that minor altercation he had, like, because he converted to Islam and people weren't feeling it because of his history as like a black activist. But I don't know. I think the evidence was always there. It's like now you're reopening it when like 2 of them are super old. One is dead. Malcolm X is dead. Like, no one can really speak much on it.
Yeah, I agree. And like, to what extent are they actually going to be?
Yeah,
like,
that's
like,
another question.
Going
it's
there,
another question.
Are we persecuting people in the documentary? So. Like, are we bringing up evidence to say what? Are people getting exonerated? Like, I'm confused.
It's gonna be like with the Central Park 5, how they like brought up that the lady who like actually just was like make it fit. Like these 5 boys had nothing. Like it doesn't match, but make it fit. They're just gonna kind of like slap them on the wrist and be like, oh, like, it was wrong to do this, but no one's getting persecuted because at the end of the day, they still want to seem like these 3 individuals did it, even though they maintained their innocence.
Yeah, because throughout all the time all 3 of them were serving, the one who was actually involved actually gave 2 statements saying the other 2 were involved and they were innocent. And they never reopened the case until now, which is
so
just
that brings me to like a big 2 big takeaways I had, and I mean, I guess one's definitely bad, and that's the fact that it's taken this long. The good thing is, like, tip of the cap to the people involved making this documentary. I mean, this is talk about an example of the people like showing up, showing out, and standing up and doing something to directly cause positive change, right?
Right.
Now, the problematic thing completely is, like, that's what it took for there to be acknowledgement that something may have been wrong in this investigation. That is concerning. That's
I'm just
really
worried
concerning.
if it's gonna harm or help the situation. Like, there's not much that can be done. So if we're gonna be telling the truth about it, and then maybe these men could actually be able like to say I was actually innocent, and people believe them, live a more peaceful life, then absolutely. But if we're just digging into old wounds, that's what I'm a little concerned about. But I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Absolutely.
I feel like I would learn more than I would just to not even give it the time of day. So I definitely will.
I'm curious to see where this takes us, because that was 1 season, 6 episodes, straight shot, and I'm curious to see where this takes us, because there's talk about some other documentaries in the works. There's a Nipsey Hussle documentary coming in, and that that'll be is being directed by Ava DuVernay, who directed the Central Park 5 documentary as well.
Yes.
That's gonna just, I suppose, be about Nipsey's life in China, and I mean, there is no denying the amount of positive things that he did out in LA and Los Angeles.
And I also think it's like good for people to know, because I feel like no one really knew about Nipsey Hussle until he died. Like,
definitely a lot.
Because I know, speaking for myself, like I knew he made a song, but I didn't know much about what he did for his community and what he was dealing with and all that stuff. So I feel like this documentary could be a real eye-opener for everyone because not a lot of people knew him.
Right. I would say Ava definitely has a way of just telling a beautiful story. And I think now, and especially because just the type of content what we're talking about, the actual piece will be made very well. And I'm more than anything, definitely, like you said, Megan, excited to be educated about what it is that Nipsey actually did, what he actually meant to people. And, you know, to the extent that I only knew him from his music, Victory Lap, and how, you know, he forgot his first Grammy and, like, everything, like, started from the bottom. Like, he worked himself up very much self-made, owned all his masters, preached that stuff, and then actually practiced what he preached. So all I know from Nipsey is that he was 100% real. He was himself. And I'm pretty sure that the documentary is only going to extend and highlight that for a fact.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to find out more because his two children are actually going to be executive producing it. So it'll be really, really cool to see what's going on.
Yeah, and how his kids own like all the masters, so all the money that's being streamed right now is going straight to his kids. Like even for him to have that type of mindset, he knew his goal. You know,
and he might have known something was gonna, like we spoke about it when it first happened. Naiya, it was before you decided to head out to LA, but we spoke about it on the Juice way back when he passed in late March of 2018, and after happening, like it was making a documentary of his own. So and that might have like, who knows? So anyways, and there's also a potential.
That's a whole conspiracy in itself.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I hope they add that because to be honest, like. I was
gonna say, I don't know. That's a lane. That's a lane that is.
They tried to educate. They said, hold up.
Don't do too much.
Don't do too much.
That's Oh man.
He said
that's
the
a
ones that you too woke.
That's a cringy.
That's what I'm saying.
I would definitely look that up. If you're listening.
For a fact. But not only that, though, there's also a new film about an alternative timeline with Tupac still being alive in Mexico. And I don't know if you all saw, but there was like a viral picture out that was a man that looked exactly like Tupac.
There's been a few of those, to be honest. Like it's kind of weird how like I've seen at least like 7 or 8 like pictures out or / videos out like of people that just like oddly look a lot like him,
like doppelgangers.
And some of them though you can shoot down and be like they're not. No way, like no shot, like
no.
One
had the nose ring. And I think they even pulled up. It was a New Mexico ID. If I'm
that was a
really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Who's
no,
this?
There was no way. I mean, like if anything replica, like there's no way. There has to like the USA must be making clones.
Yeah.
Like no, there's
there's so much in the world we don't know what's going on.
There's something
with this.
weird. But then it's also like, for what reason would he have to actually like fake his own death?
Maybe he was not feeling the music scene.
Maybe he was just like,
so he got tied up in a lot of things. So like I'm definitely, you all know me very well at this point, and then you all know that like I'm someone who's looked back and he passed at least and changed 3 years and change before I was even born. But at the same time, I've read plenty up about his life, Tupac's life, and Tupac's death, and he was in a situation that he had kind of entered after he had been released from prison. He was bailed out by Suge Knight, and that's kind of when his public image really changed. And a lot of people, like Megan, we were talking about earlier in the day when we were hanging out in Studio B, how basically a lot of people kind of turned their back on him in the way that like his relationships with a lot of people that he had been close to prior definitely had falling outs with.
I think it's weird, but I think it'll be very interesting to watch.
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm all over.
Conspiracy theories are my thing.
Right. No, I'm really big on conspiracy theories as well because I'm #Aquarius. But no, it's set to be filmed by Rick Boss to be released in 2021. And the really thing that was kind of like big about it was the whole question around like, is that really him and everything? But nobody can really know because his body was apparently moved, or that's the theme of the plot.
"Quote unquote" cremated, right?
Yeah.
Day after his death, and the autopsy,
right, exactly.
and some weird things. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And not only that, but it was moved to like the Navajo reservation, and the government can't touch it without,
they need permission from the council.
Yeah, from the native land.
So
exactly.
it was like the perfect escape plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
this man might be alive.
You never know.
There's some crazy statistics too, like. He had a huge thing with the number 7, like the numbers. So he was born in 1971, and he also, he recorded an album like right before his death called the Don Killuminati, the 7-Day Theory, and he recorded apparently in 7 days. He got shot in Las Vegas on September 6th or 7th, maybe it was September 7th. and then officially passed like 7 days later in the hospital on September 13th.
Yep.
96.
This man was dropping clues. He was dropping clues.
No, that's the fact. He's 2027.
Wait on it.
Knew. Yeah, he was like, he knew.
There's some
I don't know. This is like fishy. Like I just really want to imagine if he was still alive. Like just imagine.
He had a lot to say.
How much music he would have put out and everything. Yeah.
I feel like he knew
It would have been totally different. Totally different.
Crazy.
He probably knew, like, since he had a lot to say on like a lot of different things, like he probably knew like where things were headed as well, and like saw like between whether it was in music, like ownership of masters, and just how that dynamic that really like just. Like that bad dynamic, and also just like the other things, like he was raised into a family of Black Panthers, and you know, so like he saw some stuff that, and he knew a lot. He was a smart guy, and like I would understand if you were in his situation to want to say like, all right, it's best if I just like, you know, but it's also having a lot to say. It's like, could he handle being out of the life for so long? And if he has been, he clearly has handled it.
To be honest, I might have went ahead and like drafted up my own death messing with Suge Knight. He's scary. I wouldn't want to be
around that man. No, ma'am.
I probably would have pieced out
Suge Knight.
too.
You already know how I feel about that man.
So no, it's interesting. Y'all watch, y'all let us know what you think, but I'm definitely down for a good conspiracy
comes
theory.
around.
Oh, yeah,
really.
for sure.
Especially if it's like well like thought out and just well like if it was if the cinematography is I'll be
it's
in
like
that.
because like how is Netflix gonna pick up a documentary that's subpar, right? Like they've and Aaron Hernandez one was great. We talked about
the Aaron Hernandez one was incredible.
The documentary was really neat. And really, we've got one out right now on obviously on Malcolm X, and some that are coming that. I mean, it's good that maybe this is a way to keep the public more informed. Like this could be an effective route towards a needed thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thirsty, trying to choose. I got the juice. Shoot. I got the juice.